Sparking Change for Harmonious Living is a TV show that inspires action. It motivates you to start a journey towards a more balanced, fulfilling life. This show explores well being through spirituality, mental clarity, and physical health. It covers topics like mindfulness, nutrition, fitness, and spirituality, giving you practical advice to enhance your life. Tune in for a transformative adventure that ignites the change you seek.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Sparking Change for Harmonious Living. I am your host, Giovanna Tartaran.
I'm your co-host, Ahmed Bahman.
So welcome, everyone. Today's topic is on our imagination, right? Our creative power. And I want to share with you one of my favorite books that really helped me to understand how we can use our imagination to really manifest what we want in life. And the name of the book is Imagination Creates Reality by Neville Goddard. And I'll just start with the first sentence of two sentences that I want to share with you. Our own wonderful human imagination is the actual creative power of God within you. It is your savior, right? That to me, although two short sentences, has an enormous meaning and impact in our lives. And this is what the show is about, right? So let's talk about that, Ahmed.
Well, your imagination is one of your higher faculties,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a creative power from God that's within you, and it makes perfect sense because one, you're a spiritual being. You're the essence, a minute expression of that divine itself.
Right.
But here's the thing: most people have when they're imagining of something, they're continuously imagining on too many things that are not connected with each other. They're worried about the exterior world. They're worried about their circumstances, their conditions. And guess what? If you keep being in that state of worry, whatever you're putting in your imagination, that's what you're gonna get more of, right? So
Exactly.
as our late mentor Bob always said, he said there is this creative power that flows to and through you. It's unadulterated spirit energy. Now, thoughts are energy. So
Yes.
when you use your imagination, it's like
Mm-hmm.
you're creating whatever you want on
Mm-hmm.
this very spiritual canvas that has the ability to mold itself and project itself into this physical reality.
Absolutely. And the truth is that we think in pictures, right? We need to use our imagination to bring the picture into our mind. And we know that everything is created twice, once in the imagination with the picture, and then we get to work and we bring it out into reality. So, but how can we take the same information now and truly apply it to our reality, our life, our new story, right? Because we have a story in our mind that we may not like. So, how can
Yes.
we take this creative power and create our new life story?
Well, the thing is that if you don't have a goal, right?
Starts with the goal.
We This starts with a goal because what happens is people look at their current circumstances as a starting point, and this is not the creative process.
Hmm.
This is a process for failure. Like you can't, for example, if you're going to work towards something, right, you're not going to look at your current condition. For example, if I have, let's say, $100 bank statement, but I want to have, let's say, $100,000 bank statement. As long as I keep imagining $100, I will keep replicating similar conditions that makes me end up the same way.
Hmm.
As I think it was Buckman Fuller, he said, you don't change existing reality by thinking of the existing reality. He said, you create a new
You,
model,
yeah,
which makes the old model obsolete. So you need to work with a new blueprint, right?
that's right.
Right now, whatever you have in your world is an effect of the current blueprint. Now, that blueprint is within you at a subconscious level. So we have to work with a goal. A goal gives us a new image to work with mentally, which we can harness this creative power from the faculty of imagination until it gets engraved in our subconscious that we may bring about the desired circumstances and conditions as an expression.
And I will give a perfect example how I apply that to my life. When I was working in corporate America and I decided to go into teaching, all I did was take every extra minute that I had available to me and I applied it into everything that had to do about teaching. Looked at information, I went to school and I saw myself being a teacher before I was a teacher. And that is exactly what you're talking about, is creating the situations and the circumstances that we want by using your imagination and moving towards having a goal, right? My goal was to be a teacher, and all I did was stay focused on that goal where it eventually manifested itself, right?
Absolutely. And you see, the only way to reach higher is to always have a goal. If you have achieved that goal, immediately set another goal for yourself. You see, results, as our late mentor Bob Proctor said, should always be under construction. What that means to me is that my imagination always have to be in a creative state, not in a destructive state. What you put out comes back, right? Andrew
Yes.
Carnegie is uh, Andrew Carnegie stated, he said, any idea that's held in
It's
the
held in the
mind,
mind.
that's emphasized, that's either feared or revered, will begin at once to clothe itself in the most convenient physical form that's available. And
I love
whatever
that.
and whatever the mind can believe, sorry, that whatever the mind can conceive and believe, the mind can achieve. So whatever it is that you're entertaining the longest, that becomes the strongest. That becomes the dominating thought that takes root in the subconscious. Now, the subconscious is the conditioning, and the conditions is the expression of that conditioning.
Beautiful. And I like to just note something else that really touched me in this book. It says feelings of love and joy create happy events and loving relationships. Feeling abundant brings riches into your life. A person who is unloving or suspicious and feels that others take advantage of him draws to himself that which he believes. No matter what he does externally, his relationship with others will reflect that which he accepts as true. You know, and that's with everything. That is everything that we believe will manifest because we're setting that condition in our subconscious mind, like you just said. So it will
Absolutely.
manifest into our lives. And taking understanding of that, right? The imagination can work for you or it can work against you. How are you using your imagination, your thinking, your thoughts? Because they do
Th-
manifest.
this is where we must be self-observant,
Hmm.
and we have to be conscious of our thoughts. So people say, okay, I can't keep monitoring my thoughts all day.
Hmm.
Well, if you do a like we like to call it the PMA check, the positive mental attitude check, right?
Hmm.
Attitude is a combination of your thoughts, feelings, and action. What is the indicator? The indicator, well, tune into your feelings. Are you feeling great right now? And if not, then that means your thoughts have not been aligned with positive thinking. Therefore, you do a mental adjustment and realign yourself back with the truth. You see, God is great all the time. God does not want hardship for you. But as I stated earlier, that there is this power that flows to and through you. Now, this unadulterated spirit energy is pure, and it's neither negative nor positive. What makes it positive or negative?
We
It's your thoughts and
Mhm.
beliefs that makes it so. Be very
Absolutely.
mindful about what you think. It will surely come to pass.
Let's talk about the creative imagination and the synthetic imagination. There's two different forms of imagination.
Yes. So let's start with a synthetic imagination, for example, because that's what most people are using today. You have a lot of products out there.
Mhm,
As when we discussed earlier, Sister Giovanna, you gave a very great example about a cell phone. If
mhm.
you look back around 20 years ago, right? We had cell phone. We not all cell phones had the internet back then, but it had keypads. And today we have it's not a phone anymore. You know, it's actually like a mini computer that has a phone in it, right?
Yeah.
It's
Yes.
it doesn't have any keypad, but it's just a there is a screen, and the screen has some certain sensors that it can detect the motion of your of a touch.
Hmm. Yeah.
Now, somebody thought of, okay, this is a product that we have. Now, how can we improve upon it?
And that's
And this is
synthetic
where
imagination.
that's synthetic imagination. Unlike creative imagination, for example, that's what Albert Einstein did with the incandescent lamp or light
Mhm.
bulb, right? I think it took him around 10,000 times until he got it. Now, he didn't say that I didn't fail 9,999 times, but he said, I found out that there was 9,999 times of how not to make a light bulb.
Yeah. That's right. But those who are determined to find the solution, find the answer, there's no such thing as failure. There's no
Now,
such thing as failure.
you just reminded me of another great example, such as Henry Ford, which Napoleon Hill talks about. Now, Henry Ford has a very interesting story. The Ford Motor Corporation have made the first V8 engine in the world.
Mhm.
And when he had his engineers, right, if to the in his research and development section, he told his engineers, go and make me a V8 engine. Now they had a six-cylinder engine, but not a V8 engine. So they went into the workshop. They came back after some few months, and they said, "Sir, it cannot be done." And he said, "Go back to the to the workshop and do what I just told you. Make me a V8 engine." So they came back the second time again. They said that it cannot be done. So he sent them back again. Right now, Henry Ford knew about this power. He knew that if he held on to his imagination, it's only a matter of time before he can see that revelation.
So
It
good.
will be
Yeah.
revealed to you, right? It gets revealed to you. Now, the third time when he sent them, they came back and they said, we did it. He held on to his imagination with faith. You know, as the science of personal achievement, Hill talks about, he says that your thoughts have the ability to project themselves into their physical equivalent. Now, just because you can imagine something and you don't see it physically does not mean it's not there. Absence of evidence is not evidence of absence, right?
So
If
good.
you
I love
can if you can imagine something, just know because you can imagine it, then if it's not available in its physical equivalent, then it's yet to come, but it's available in its spiritual essence, right? Now, if you can imagine it in spiritual essence, that means that there is an ability to bring about its physical equivalent.
that. Absolutely. Whatever's held in the mind, right?
It's either
Will take
feared or
form.
revered. Absolutely.
Let's talk about. Let's give an example. Let's have the audience experience the power of the imagination. How about that?
Yeah,
All right.
let's give an exercise for everyone.
All right. So you may close your eyes if you like. Close your eyes. And I want you to think a nice hot summer day. And you're going to make some lemonade. And you're going to get a nice, fresh our lemon, orange lemon, and you're going to cut it in half. Picture yourself cutting it in half. And you're going to cut another slice. And now you're going to squeeze that slice into a glass of water. Can you taste the lemon? Can you see the lemon in front of your eyes and you're actually taking action? And is your mouth getting watery just looking at that lemon? Because I know for me it is right now.
Yeah, mine started too.
But that's how powerful our imagination is. Our imagination can absolutely make you feel. And if you're feeling it, you see the picture and you're feeling it, this is where the power is. Let's talk about that, because that's,
It-
it's a
it-
simple example, but I tell you, it works with everything else.
Absolutely. And whatever you think of or whatever you watch can affect your feelings. So let me describe. A lot of you, I'm sure you've been to a romantic movie, right? You exit from that movie and you're feeling all lovey-dovey, right? Same thing is when we were kids, we used to go and watch a Jackie Chan movie, and as soon as we were out, we were, well, how many people start joining martial arts classes?
Yeah.
So it causes you, thinking causes the feeling. Now the feeling will make you move after altering the vibration you're in. It makes you move in that direction. So if you want to be more aligned with your purpose, you always got to have your goal in the forefront of your mind at all times. Why do you see in the racetrack of horses they give them these blinders? It's because they want the horse to be looking straight,
Or
not to
about,
have any
I'm sorry, go ahead. Yes, to be focused. I was
to be
just
full.
going to give another example. Sorry.
No, no, go
Just
ahead.
like athletes, right? Athletes
Yes,
when they practice for the Olympics, there's that preconditioning the mind to show, so they can see that they're visually winning, feeling
yes.
it, visualizing it, is a big part of using your imagination so that it can bring you into that direction to
And,
achieve your goals.
that's a very fascinating thing you just mentioned, because scientists have examined with athletes. They put a cap that has wires on it,
Mhm.
and then they ask the person to do certain physical exercises in their imagination. What was interesting about this is that as they were imagining that they were running, the brain fired certain signal from certain neurons in exact response, as if the body was, as if the brain was experiencing that the person is actually doing it physically. The
Mhm.
same areas of the brain fired as if he was doing it physically. You see, it's so powerful because your mind, your subconscious mind, cannot differentiate between
It is real.
what is real or what is being imagined. It accepts
So
everything.
powerful.
So
So
give,
powerful.
give it only the things that you wish to see in this world. As you've mentioned earlier, when you viewed yourself, right? You used your imagination. You
Mhm.
use the law of assumption in a constructive way to work with your very own self image. You saw yourself, you became the person initially from within
Yes.
before the whole thing manifested in your environment, as everybody started to recognize you as you are.
And that, again, you said the magic word, and we repeat this all the time with every show I think we have. Everything starts within, guys. Everything
Yes.
starts within, you know,
And
and then you see it in our reality. You have to understand that. So if there's something that you don't like in your life, you must examine what's going on within you first. Because I promise you, when I learned this stuff, And it was a big shock to me to understand I'm really projecting what's in front of me. Yeah, yes. And when you can accept that and say, okay, well, I don't like this, so how can I change this? It becomes an inside job. I need to change me first, and then my
And
outer world changes. So that's why, and it all starts in the imagination with our thoughts, right?
absolutely, your mind is very powerful. You know, James Allen would not have said in his famous poem. He said, "Mind is the master power."
Yes.
He said, "Mind is the master power that molds and makes." And man is mind, and evermore he takes the tool of thought, and shaping what he wills, brings forth 1,000 joys, 1,000 ills. It depends what you're thinking.
Yes. So, so beautifully said. And we talk about, which again was something that um, was hard for me to believe at first. But if, when I studied Dr. Joe Dispenza, he says, and I'll never forget his words on the show, he said, if your mind can make you sick, can your mind make you well? And he's got this whole research behind it. And the answer is yes. Yes. So let's talk about that a little bit.
It's quite funny you mentioned Dr. Joe Dispenza. I just saw a video of Dr. Bruce Lipton today,
Mm,
and he was discussing about they've monitored documented cases about genetic expressions,
right.
right? Because your genes can express differently based on your thoughts and feelings. So they've grabbed, for example, a case from a family who had an adopted child, and they also had children of their own. But the funny thing was that when they started analyzing on a genetic level of all of the entire family, they realized that even the kid that was adopted was prone to get the similar diseases of that family. Now, it's not something physical, right?
Mhm. Right.
But it's the programming that's been deep rooted as a conditioning within that family group. So if you want your lives to change the programming that's within you.
And actually, his work proved that because he's a epigenetic doctor, so he studied like what happens to the when you put a gene and you take three same genes and you put them in three different peach tree, and you change the environment, and he
Yes.
talks about how the structure of the gene changed because of the environment, right? Of the above the cell, the epigenetic part, right? The over the, what do they call it? Yeah, the epigenetic part is above the cell. Epi means above. So it's above the cell that changed because of the environment. And we have the power to influence that by the
And
environment. And the environment starts with, if we look at our own self, it starts with our thoughts.
I'll never forget what Bob always used to say. He always used to say, "Environment is more important than heredity." And as Dr. Beckwith once mentioned, he said, "We're not indigenous like plants to be stuck in a certain location." He said, "Human beings are endogenous. So if an
Right.
environment doesn't suit you, you can change it. You can move to somewhere else."
And that means you don't point the finger at people, you
No,
point the finger at yourself.
that's yourself.
And if you
Absolutely.
don't like what you have the power to change because God gave us the power to make a choice, the will, right? We can make the choices for our lives. And when we start really doing the work that it helps us, and we examine ourselves, it's you open up the doors to receive life in a different way, and you view life in a different way, for sure.
And as Hill stated, he said, "Your imagination is the most marvelous, miraculous, inconceivable, powerful force the world has ever known." inconceivable. As you had a statement earlier about imagination, I think it was related to education.
It says education will take you to point A, from A to point B, but your imagination will take you everywhere. Right? It's unlimited. You can go anywhere you want with your imagination. It's yours. It's a gift that you received. And when you use this gift, we're taught to use our 5 senses. That's what we're taught to use. But this higher faculty is the instrument that will really open you up to understand the true potential that you have within you to create and have and do anything you want. You have to train it. You have to use it. And that's the message we need to send today, is that you do have it within you. Everyone has it.
It's a gift from God. It doesn't cost a penny. It's within every one of you. But the only thing is, ask yourself, if I don't use it properly, what will it cost me? Something to think about.
Absolutely. So as we end this show and we bring it to a landing, I just want to say thank you, everyone, for joining us. I truly believe that, we are here to do great things and enjoy life. And it all starts with us, right? So thank you, and your imagination. So I am your host, Giovanna Tardarone.
And I'm your co-host, Ahmed Bahman. See you next week.
Thank you, everyone. And if you'd like to join us, as always, Sparking Change for Success, a Facebook group that we have. You can join us there, and we'll share information and come on once in a while to just, share with you more information to help you elevate yourself to the new level of where you're supposed to be and be happy, right? So thank you, everyone, for joining us. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining me on Sparking Change for Harmonious Living. I hope that our episode today has ignited a spark within you to create positive change in your own life and in the world around you. To learn more about how you can become a guest or supporter, head over to sparkingchangenow.com. If you enjoyed today's episode, please consider subscribing, sharing, and leaving a review. Your feedback is incredibly valuable to me, and it helps me to continue producing content that sparks change in each of us and the world. You can find us on various platforms, including Google Play Store, Apple App Store, YouTube, Facebook, Roku, Android TV, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. Thank you again for watching. And I look forward to having you join me again next week on Sparking Change for Harmonious Living.